Hello friends. So I'm here to explain you about the notes that I'm already providing you in your emails. So this is the first lecture that I have provided you, and the topic is sliding contact bearing. You know that bearing, the definition of bearing is a machine element which supports another moving element known as bearing. Whenever there is a relative motion between two machine elements and one element is the supporting and another is the moving element, so the element which is supporting the moving element, that is referred to as bearing. So in this figure it is clearly given that we have one moving element, another one is stationary element. So the stationary element will be called as what? Bearing. And moving element will be called as what? Journal. So this is the basic definition of bearing. Now, bearing according to the shaft. Bearing is defined as a machine element which supports the uh, moving element, but in case of shaft, the moving element is shaft, and shaft will be moving in the rotational motion. Okay, so the rotational motion here is provided by the shaft. So the shaft will be supported on the another fixed element. That fixed element will be called as what? Bearing. So here you can see the W load is acting on the shaft, and that W load is acting in the downward direction because of the weight, and this W load can be pulley, gear, and other type of mountings that are mounted on the shaft, and the shaft that is supported this shaft is supported here. This one, this is the moving element, and this one is the shaft. So shaft is supported on the moving element, shaft is supported on the bearing. Okay, so this here, the shaft is in rotational motion and it is supported by the bearing. So this is the bearing according to the shaft. Now due to the friction, you always know that there is always some amount of power loss. So always when there is friction, power loss will be present, and power loss due to friction will be observed as the heat gain by the system. So always friction, what happens, the loss in power will be observed as the rise in temperature of the system. So to avoid that loss, or to overcome that heat, lubricants are used. Okay, so this is the first page. Now in the second page, you can see there is classification of the bearing. So in this classification of bearing are broadly classified in two categories, that is sliding contact bearing and the rolling contact bearing. So as the name suggests, sliding contact bearing will be having sliding motion between two uh, elements, and rolling contact bearing will be having a rolling motion between the two moving two elements which are having relative motion with each other. Okay, so in this unit we will be studying about the sleeve, oh sorry, we will be studying about the sliding contact bearing. So this is the classification of the sliding contact bearing, and the first classification is sleeve bearing, and second is slipper bearing. So sleeve bearing and slipper bearing. Slipper bearing are two types into three different types, that is with respect to direction of the load, with respect to type of lubrication, with respect to type of bushes. So and further they are classified as uh, with respect to type of direction of the load, that is the axial load bearing or thrust bearing, radial load bearing, or the journal bearing. So axial or thrust load bearing are further classified into two categories that are called as pivot bearing and collar bearing, and radial load bearing are further classified as the full journal bearing, partial journal bearing, and fitted journal bearing. So this pivot bearing and collar bearing further classified into two parts, that pivot bearing are classified into two categories, that are the flat pivot bearing and the conical pivot bearing, and collar bearing are classified into two types, flat collar bearing and the conical collar bearing. So what is the meaning of about the pivot. Pivot bearing are the bearings which are fixed at the one point, mm, or the or and the other end is rotating freely rotating. So this pivot bearing, or the it is also called as the footstep bearing. Footstep, why footstep bearing? Because they are generally used where there is axial load. That means the shaft is vertical, and like we put our uh, foot in the shoe in the vertical direction, like that the shaft is put it in the, or the shaft is hold in the bearing in a vertical direction, and the load is also acting axially. So that's why these type of bearing come under axial load bearing. Okay, and collar bearing are the bearings in which what happen, there is a collars are provided instead of single sleeve. Okay, there are number of collars are provided that we will further study, um, then you will be easily understanding. So flat collar bearing and the corner collar bearing are the further types of the collar bearing. What is the meaning of the flat and conical? This means that uh, perfect cylinder is the uh, flat collar bearing, and when the shape of the shaft or the end of the shaft is just like the cone, so this type of bearing will be called as what? Conical collar bearing. Okay, next, radial load bearing or the journal bearing, so very important. So radial load bearing and journal bearing are further classified into three parts: full journal bearing, partial journal bearing, and the fitted journal bearing. So what does it mean? Full journal bearing are the bearings which in which the shaft is fully covered, or the shaft is fully covered by the bearing in the 360-degree angle. Okay, and partial journal bearing, what is this? In this the shaft is partially covered by the bearing. That means in a angle that is less than 360 degree, that can be 120 degree, that can be 240 degree, so that is less than 360 degree, so the shaft is not covered fully by the bearing. And fitted journal bearing is the bearing which have the shaft fixed in the bearings. That means they are completely surrounded by the bearing, and the shaft is completely fitted, it cannot be removed. That is inbuilt inbuilt in the bearing. So these type of bearing are called as what? Fitted journal bearing. Next, with respect to type of lubrication, so there are three types of lubrication in sliding contact bearing. These are the thin film lubrication, thick film lubrication, and zero film lubrication. So as the name suggests, thin film lubrication means, as you know, the sliding contact bearing have a sliding motion between two metal surfaces. So we provide the uh, lubrication between these two metal surfaces, there will be less amount of friction. So if the lubrication film is very thin, then this type of bearing will be called as what? Thin film lubrication. Next is the thick film lubrication, in which the film thickness is somewhat higher, so thickness is more as compared to the thin film lubrication. And zero film lubrication are the uh, bearings in which lubrication is almost negligibly present between the two mating surfaces. Okay, and there is metal to metal contact present between the two mating surfaces. Okay, and thick film lubrication are further classified into two types, very important types: hydrodynamic lubrication and the hydrostatic lubrication. So okay, so this we will be studying in detail further. Okay, and next, third type is with respect to type of bushes. So they are further classified into two types: solid bush bearing and the split bush bearing. Okay, so these are the different the complete classification of the what? Sliding contact bearing. Okay, now we will be studying simple very slowly about all the different types of classification of the bearing. So first of all, this is the slipper bearing or guide bearing. Guide bearing, it is used when it is used when sliding occurs in a direction of straight line. So this is called as the slipper bearing or the guide bearing. Sleeve bearing is the bearing in which it is used when there is a motion in the circumferential direction between the bearing and the shaft. Okay, so when sliding occurs in a direction of the circumference of the cylinder. Okay, and footstep bearing. So as already I told you, that axial load will be acting. So this is the case of the footstep bearing, or we can say the flat pivot bearing. Okay, next is the conical pivot. As you can see, I already told you, the other end of the shaft is in conical shape and it is fitted in the bearing. So this dashed portion, this this dashed portion is the bearing that is fixed. Okay, and this is the shaft. This is the shaft. Okay, so this is the overall understanding of the bearing. Next is the radial load bearing or the journal bearing. So yes, in this case we have the load in the direction of the radius of the shaft. So that is why they are called as the radial load bearing. And in this you can see that the some portion of the bearing is covered by the shaft. So the part of the shaft that is covered by the bearing, we can easily determine the dimension like this. So this is the uh, length is shown in this easily. The part of the bearing that is covering the shaft is the length of the bearing, and the diameter of the shaft is the diameter of the bearing. Okay, and the radial load is acting in the radial direction, and this is full journal bearing. Why? Because the angle covered by the bearing is 360 degrees, so that is why this is the full journal bearing. And here this is the isometric view of the radial load bearing. In this you can easily see the length. So the length of the bearing that covers the shaft, that portion of the shaft is called as what? It's called as journal. Okay, so this the portion of the shaft. So in one line is written, the portion of the shaft which lies inside the bearing is known as what? Journal. Okay, so this is the second page. Now next we have types of types of journal bearing. We have full journal bearing. We have that I already told you, theta is equal to 360 degree, and then we have the partial journal bearing. Partial journal bearing when theta is equals to 120 degree, that is called as the partial journal bearing. Uh, and this type of bearing has less friction than the full journal bearing, and it can be used when load is acting in one direction. Example, railroad car axles. Okay, next is the fitted journal bearing. So when a particular when a partial or full journal bearing has no clearance, that is the direction of the journal and bearing are equal. Direction of journal bearing are dimension of the journal and the bearing are equal. That I already told you, it is completely fitted, uh, just like the uh, interference joint. Clearance fit. Now next is the clearance or clearance full journal being when the diameter of the journal is less than the diameter of the bearing. The bearing is called as clearance journal bearing. Okay, this is simple understanding. Now next is the way with respect to type of lubrication. So these are also further classified into different types of lubrication according to the type of lubrication that is provided in the bearing. So first is the solid lubrication. Solid lubrication is when there is a metal or the solid lubricant is used in between the bearings. For example, Graphite is the solid lubricant. Also uh, the cast iron, that means cast iron is the lubricating material. So it also it have already, that means it have the self lubricating properties within itself. So if we use cast iron bearings in the sliding wheel solder bearings, then they will be self lubricated, okay. Next is the thin film bearings. In this bearing there is metal to metal contact, hmm, present at any speed. That means because the lubrication film is present, but it is very thin, so there will be metal to metal contact that will be present at any speed. Okay. Next is thick film lubrication. These are further classified into two types that you already know: the hydrodynamic lubrication and the hydrostatic lubrication. So in this, metal to metal contact is avoided at different speeds. Okay. So further, if we understand about the hydrodynamic lubricated bearings, so what happens? Hydrodynamic lubrication, in this there is metal to metal contact at the starting condition, but as the speed increases, what will happen? The metal to metal contact will slightly, or you can slowly go away. Why? Because the lubricant present in between the uh, journal and the bearing will fill the complete space between the journal and the bearing, so there will be no metal to metal contact, and the condition of complete lubrication is achieved. Okay. So here you can see in the figure, yes, this is the hydrodynamic bearing, in which this is the starting condition. The arrow suggests this is the starting condition. So here we have the bearing and the shaft. The solid part that is shown with the hedged portion is the shaft, and the dashed portion with the outer circle is the bearing. So in between these two bodies, lubricant is filled. So this is the hydrodynamic lubrication, but the lubricant is present at the atmospheric pressure. So what is happening? We have the lubricant at the atmospheric pressure, so because of this there is metal to metal contact at the lower point. That means here here there is metal to metal contact. Okay. So metal to metal contact is present, so in this the starting torque will be required, uh, will be at a higher value. Okay. And next is the hydrostatic lubrication. So in this lubrication, what has happened? There is no metal to metal contact even at the stationary condition also. Here in hydrodynamic lubrication, there is metal to metal contact present between the bearing and the journal at the stationary condition also. But in hydrostatic bearing, we don't have the metal to metal contact, because there is lubricant on present at higher than atmospheric pressure between the journal and the bearing. So this higher pressure lubricant is provided with the help of the pump. So the pump always puts the lubricant at such a pressure so that shaft this shaft this shaft is always at some distance. This is always at some distance between the from the bearing. So this is always at some distance from the bearing. So always there is good chances of no metal to metal contact, and because of this the starting torque here required will be less. But the external pressure agency such as pump is required to lift the shaft and to provide no metal to metal contact. Okay. So this is the first lecture today, and next we will be studying in detail about the functioning of the hydrodynamic lubrication, as you are seeing in the lower portion of the page. Okay. So you can easily revise this topic and easily understand the concept of bearing, and then we will proceed further. Thank you.